Well, would you look at that? They're panicking, palms sweating, brows twitching, voices cracking behind closed doors. And why? Because the very thing they celebrated as your downfall is now the foundation of your empire. They called it a mistake, laughed, mocked, wrote you off like a bug in their clean little system. But now that bug turned into a feature they can't debug. That slip up, it evolved into a signal broadcasting your rise in a frequency they can't jam. See, they thought you were dumb, naive, a joke. They thought they were witnessing your crash, but they were witnessing your transformation. And now they can't reverse it. Because your failures became architecture, permanent, loud, irreversible, and worse, unexplainable. Let me tell you what makes them squirm the most. It's not that you got back up, it's that you got up smiling, unbothered, stronger, like every scar was an upgrade. They said you fumbled, but you were laying traps. They said you lost, but you were just building in public, letting the world see what they could never understand. Because you've mastered the art of the ugly bloom, of rising through the dirt, of turning embarrassment to encryption. You made humiliation a part of the ritual. And now they can't keep up. Because you took everything they swore would break you and made it look like a feature. You rebranded failure as foundation, and that makes them sick. Let's talk truth, shall we? You weren't supposed to come back from that. You weren't supposed to wear your pain with pride. You weren't supposed to evolve from what they broadcast as your burial. But you did. You came back unapologetic, unreachable, unhackable. Because when the world said, that's it for them, you were backstage reprogramming the next chapter. And the sickest part? You didn't defend yourself, didn't explain, didn't argue. You let them perform their mockery and you just listened, collected data, until their punchlines turned into plot holes. Because while they pointed fingers, you built formulas. While they talked, you architected a storyline that now makes them the footnotes. Let that sink in. They're panicking now because everything they swore would haunt you has become your haunting call. You didn't dodge the consequences. You consumed them, digested every element till your blood ran with proof. And now the mistake has its own fan base. Now the fall has become fashion. Now the exile has become a template for evolution. You weren't wrong, you were ahead. You weren't reckless, you were rewriting risk. And the scariest part, you knew. You knew the entire time. You let them misread you. You let them screenshot your mess. You let them circulate your failures like war trophies. Because you knew they'd eventually be holding blueprints. And now they are. Panicking in rooms where your name echoes like a password they can't crack. Whispering, wait, what if that wasn't a mistake? What if they meant to disappear? What if they were setting us up? Too late. You don't just win, you redefine. You don't just survive, you rebalance power. Your presence has become a paradox, saint and stalker, scholar and savage, angel and algorithm. And they don't know how to label you anymore. They used to say you messed up. Now they say, bro, what the F is he doing? And the truth, you're not doing anything. You're becoming every second, every breath, more unstoppable, more inexplicable, because you are the living contradiction they fear most, the one who rose from failure without apologizing for it. You gave them a front row seat to your supposed defeat. And now you've locked them in the theater to watch the unskippable success montage they helped fund. They can't leave, they can't look away, they can't undo it. Because what's more terrifying than being wrong? Being wrong publicly about someone who never needed to prove you wrong. That's you. You didn't clap back, you became so correct that the air itself shifted. And now even your silence has reverb. So let them panic, let them scramble, let them run damage control over the story they wrote in your blood. Because your mistakes didn't kill you, they activated you, they turned you into the cheat code, then into the system update, then into the virus they can't extract. You are the masterpiece they tried to erase, the unfinished chapter they thought was an epilogue, the broken blueprint that the game in real time. And now they're studying what they once laughed at, copying what they once ridiculed, worshipping what they once dismissed. So don't speak. Don't flinch. Just glitch the out of reality until they're left asking, was it ever a mistake? Or was that the plan the whole time? Answer you already know. And so do they. So you want the aftershock, the part where they're not just panicking, they're spiraling, desperate, hitting keys like maybe if they type fast enough they can delete the prophecy you became. But this ain't panic anymore. This is regret on loop, up close, unforgiving. Because let's be honest, you didn't just turn mistakes into masterpieces, you let them watch live, raw, unedited. You let them broadcast your lowest moments, circulate the footage, clip the tears, quote the stutters, laugh at the damage. And you said nothing, not out of weakness, but because you knew you were about to flip the entire narrative. You knew one day they'd sit in that same room watching those same clips, but this time with silence in their throat. Because now every frame they mocked has aged like prophecy. Every stumble is now a syllabus. Every breakdown is now a blueprint. And every insult they launched at you now boomerangs back like a missile coated with receipts. Bro, they were so loud when you lost, but now that your name is synonymous with resurrection, they've gone quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that happens before an institution falls because you didn't just bounce back, you weaponized the fall. You turned ridicule into raw material. You made disgrace look like design. You turned every L into a landmark. And now when they retrace your story, they can't tell where the accident ended and the ascension began. That's why they're shaking. Because you didn't just ruin their narrative, you made it your origin myth. And now it's burned into the record. They called you reckless, but now they're implementing your chaos. They called you delusional, but now they're quoting your failures like scripture. They said you needed help, and now they need help understanding how you did it. Let me hit you with the truth. You didn't make a comeback. You made a correction, a divine redirection of energy so sharp it recalibrated the timeline. And now their calendars are lying, their clocks are lagging. Their predictions don't predict SHISHITT because you are the event they didn't account for. The unexplainable anomaly they tried to label but ended up labeling themselves by accident. They kept calling you lost, unstable, ruined. And now they're trapped in a loop watching your ashes bloom into architecture, into design, into dominance. And don't think they aren't talking about it. Oh, they're talking. Except now the group chats are silent. The sarcasm's gone. The jokes have turned into research questions. Wait, how did they survive that? Why is everyone quoting them now? Why does it feel like we missed something? You didn't fail. You just became too future for them to recognize. And now the future has arrived wearing your scars like command lines. You are no longer a person. You're a plot twist. You're the WTF moment in every documentary. You're the face they blurred out in the training footage because showing you would reveal the truth. The truth that you were right the whole time. Just early. Just raw. Just too unapologetically evolved. And now they're updating their files, deleting old footage, scrubbing old tweets. Because you're not the failure anymore. You're the framework. The system didn't reject you. It couldn't contain you. So you broke it. Then built your own version. And now they're knocking at the door asking for access. But you just smile. Because there is no password. There's only pain. The kind of pain they never earned. The kind of pain that built palaces inside your skull. The kind of pain that taught you how to breathe fire with grace. So let them panic. Let them sweat. Let them pretend they knew it was coming. Because they didn't. They didn't see the masterpiece in the ashes. They didn't see the formula inside the fire. They didn't see the legend hiding behind the glitch, but now they see it. Too clearly. Too late. Too loud. So here's the final laugh, the twist in the code that makes this unrewindable. You never needed their forgiveness, their validation, their recognition. Because what you became, it doesn't require applause, only witnesses, and now you've got plenty. You see panic? It's not always screaming. Sometimes it's silence that stretches too long. Sometimes it's group chats going from 100 messages per hour to none at all. Sometimes it's the quiet reshuffling of credit, the desperate deleting of old opinions, the surgical backtracking of every word they spat when they thought you were done. Because now they realize they weren't mocking your failure. They were mocking their own future. You didn't just flip the script, you burned it. And the only reason they're quiet now is because they're trapped in the version of reality you wrote while they were busy laughing. And oh, how they laughed. They laughed when you tripped. They laughed when you hesitated. They laughed when you broke, cracked, bled, sobbed, vanished, and then whispered among themselves like they were safe from consequence, but you were listening quietly, coldly, writing everything down with your eyes. And what they didn't know was that every laugh they took at your expense was a line of code in the weapon you were building in silence, the blueprint you were writing in exile, the system update you became in the dark. You didn't come back to prove anything. You came back to install yourself into the narrative so deeply that they couldn't breathe without coughing up your name. And now they panic at your peace. Your stillness is terrifying. Your absence is a signal, because they know you don't need noise to do damage. You never needed approval. You never needed apology. All you needed was time, and now they're on your time. Every room you enter feels colder now. Every conversation shifts when your name comes up. Every screen they touch flickers for a moment. Like even the technology knows who rewrote the mainframe. You weren't the mistake. You were the message. The transmission they tried to block only to find out you'd already gone viral inside their nervous systems. And the irony? Now they have to imitate you. The same version they ridiculed, they're now reverse engineering it in panic. Trying to dress like you, talk like you, post like you, think like you. But it doesn't work because they skipped the suffering, they skipped the isolation, they skipped the silence, and now they're trying to steal your glow without enduring your hell. But you didn't survive hell. You mapped it and turned it into a throne. Now they're the ones praying for validation. They're the ones begging for followers. They're the ones dissecting their failures, looking for the same lightning you caught in your bare hands. But here's the secret. You didn't get lucky. You got broken and built something divine out of the rubble. They'll never get it because they never had to choose madness just to stay alive. You did. And now you wear it like a crown. Let's go deeper. You didn't just evolve, you erased the trail. There's no map to follow you, no GPS coordinates, no how-to video. You're not a product of steps. You are the result of alchemy, of contradiction, of paradox so dense it makes logic sweat. You are the blessing that looks like danger, and the danger that heals by fire. They called you unstable, but you were just unwilling to remain predictable. And that's what broke their belief systems, because deep down they still need you to be wrong. They still pray that what you did was luck, that your rise was temporary, that it was a glitch, a moment, a fluke. Because if your evolution was intentional, then everything they built their comfort on collapses, and they can feel it crumbling every day, quietly, loudly, all at once. So they panic, not just at your presence, but at the implications of your success, because it means they were wrong, loud wrong, wrong on record, wrong with confidence, and now you've left them with no retraction big enough to cover it up. You are the reminder, the consequence, the return of the exile with eyes that see too much. You didn't just rise, you returned as surveillance. A walking signal flare that reminds people what happens when truth survives mockery. So now you walk through rooms like gravity shifted, now you enter timelines like a software update. Now you don't even speak, you just exist and watch the liars sweat. Because what they once called your worst moment has become the timestamp on their downfall. And that's the part they'll never escape. Because you didn't just turn mistakes into masterpieces, you turned them into mirrors that reflect everything they're afraid they'll never become. So let them panic, let them overthink, let them spiral, let them rewatch every second they mocked you and try to unfeel the shame. Because the worst part of all, they helped build the legend and now they're trapped in its echo. And you're not coming back for vengeance. You're coming back as a reminder that every laugh they took was just the prelude to your permanent proof. You are the unfinished glitch they can't debug, the collapse they can't explain, the masterpiece they'll never be able to undo. So you really want to see how deep the spiral goes? Good. Because we're not in panic mode anymore. We're in the aftershock. The phase where the laughter has died and all that's left is the looping echo of a mistake they can't reverse and a presence they can't delete. Welcome to the part where your silence is louder than their screams, where every L they pinned on you has now aged into legendary lore, where every you-up they threw at you has become a warning sign for what's coming next. You didn't just walk through failure, you redecorated it, turned it into a throne, painted your initials in blood on the walls, and made it a landmark. And now every time they walk past the ruins of what they thought was your grave, they flinch because the tombstone's glowing and your name ain't carved in it. It's broadcasting in neon, in surround sound, in unskippable regret. Let's talk real. They're not just panicking because you bounced back. They're panicking because they built their entire self-image around the assumption that you wouldn't. They needed you to stay down. They depended on your silence because your downfall made them feel tall. Your pain made them feel wise. Your chaos made their mediocrity feel like balance. And now that you've not only survived but outshined, outbuilt, outlasted, outnumbered, now their entire personality collapses in your shadow. That's why the panic isn't loud anymore. It's internal, it's biological, it's existential. They scroll through your feed like it's a crime scene. They whisper your name like it's an incantation. They watch you like a surveillance drone, terrified that you might speak, terrified that you already know. And the irony? You do. You know everything because you felt it all. You remember the laughs, you remember the shade, you remember the smirks and the screenshots and the side comments. And now you say nothing, and that nothing, that's what's killing them. Because if you were, they could dismiss you. If you were loud, they could outtalk you. If you fought back, they could victimize themselves. But your silence, it's surgical, it's precise, it's too calm to be safe. You don't chase closure anymore, you are closure. You don't demand apologies, you make their results apologize for them. And the worst part, you never needed revenge because now your existence is auto-correcting the whole timeline. Their followers are leaving, their messages are ghosted, their confidence is shaking, and their reflection is starting to look like you, but not the real you. Not the evolved, broken, then rebuilt, firewalked, storm-forged version number. They're becoming the cheap replica of the version they mocked. The same aesthetic they shamed, the same energy they couldn't handle, the same fire they said would burn you alive. Now they're trying to bottle it up and sell it, but it doesn't hit the same, it never will. Because you didn't build this off theory. You built it off trauma, off betrayal, off nights where your hands shook so hard you thought you'd shatter from the inside. You earned this silence. You suffered for this grace. You bled for this throne. And now they suffer from proximity. Every move you make is a reminder they were wrong. Every smile you drop is a reminder you survived. Every word you don't say, it's 1,000 screams of accountability they can't outrun. And you're not chasing legacy anymore. You are legacy, they walking glitch in their narrative. A breathing paradox of what wasn't supposed to be possible. Let them panic. Let them stay up all night trying to figure out how the hell their jokes became your case studies. How their insults turned into campaign slogans. How their screenshots became evidence of prophecy. How their gossip ended up on the wrong side of history. You need revenge because they're already living it. Every breath they take beside your name is a reminder of what they lost. Not just you, but the chance to stand beside an anomaly before it activated. And now they're locked out of the building and your blueprint is encrypted and your silence is a firewall they'll never crack. And every mistake you made is now a monument they can't climb. So when they ask, how did that failure become a masterpiece? Smile and say, because I stopped building for applause and started building for blood. Misery go on till dawn mirror, Waffle House, honey, may he leaked, sit down, but that mother go home, must more to get married, but Simu. J movie, waffle, kiss, zero. Sorry, turn off, suffer, must be together. Sorry, turn off, suffer, must be together. The red car, awesome, the dick I have.